Welcome, everybody, to tonight's episode. Tonight, we'll be speaking with Laura Zielinski regarding the case of Patrick Shane Rafferty. And I keep forgetting I call him Shane, so it's Patrick is in the front. How are you doing tonight, Laura?
I'm doing okay.
Great. I have a few questions, and then there might be people that's watching that may add a few to it as well. And if they ask afterwards, I'll make sure you get them. But we know that you weren't present the day of the murder that occurred. So these are some of the questions regarding what you can tell us. Is that okay?
That's absolutely fine.
Okay. If that came out right, I don't even know. The co-defendant in the case made some outrageous claims that were contradicted in court by phone records and proved there was no way you were having an affair with Stephen Spade. Would you tell us about the interaction you did have with him?
The only time I had ever met Stephen Spade was one time at the bar. I was actually sitting at the bar, and Lisa was sitting next to me, and he had walked in, and she said, "Oh, this is my cousin Stephen," and I said, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." She said, "Well, we've got some stuff to talk about. He's coming in and he's leaving shortly," and they walked off to the bathroom, and that was the extent of me ever speaking to Stephen.
Oh, okay. How about your knowledge of Lisa Penix? What kind of behavior did she display as her normal personality?
When I first met Lisa, she was young. She struck me as, I don't want to say immature, but she just had this, she wanted to fit in, almost impressionable. There was already a group of us that were really kind of tight-knit. She kind of came in when we were all already friends. She was trying to get her way into the friendship. To me, she seemed real innocent, real impressionable. But it definitely changed through the time of knowing her. But I didn't know her super great as well.
Okay. Did you have any interaction with Lisa after the murder occurred? And if so, how was her behavior? How did you notice her behavior to be?
No, it was months before all this happened, or the trial started, that I had last heard from her. When Shane and I had split up for a period of time, she started dating him, and we had a couple confrontations shortly after they split up because we did get back together. But other than that, if I did happen to see her, I did not speak to her, just to keep from having further issues together.
Okay. What about Jason Keenan? Did you have any interaction with him prior to or after? Can you tell us anything about his behavior?
I was more, if I did have any interaction with him, it was because of working with his girlfriend. She was someone that I got along with at work. I didn't really hang out with these people too much outside of work. They were drinkers. They did whatever they did in their spare time. I don't know what everybody knows about them. I don't want to put their business out on Front Street, just extracurriculars that I wasn't involved in. And, I didn't shun them for it. That's their own life. But I chose that my relationship of a friendship was more of a acquaintanceship.
Right.
I spoke to him when I was at work, and that was a lot of the interaction that we did have. We did all spend a lot of time there together, though.
Okay.
Jason, to me, there was a lot of times where he would sit in the corner. He would seclude himself. I didn't, at the time, think he was a bad person. I don't think he was all there, but I also didn't know what the situation was either.
Right, right.
What caused it.
Hey, did you have any interaction with William Kramer prior to the murder? If so, what was his behavior like?
I actually have never met him.
Okay.
Never met him, never spoke to him, no contact at all.
How about Derek Shutt? Shutt.
Derek, when I first met Derek, he seemed like a very, very normal guy. As time went on, there were little things I would notice. He was a little secretive or wouldn't talk like in front of me about things, didn't know what they were in regards to. I mean, it could have been anything.
Right.
But I still just, I don't know, like, I'll be honest, it was a shock to me on any of these people, except for, obviously, Kramer, because I didn't know him.
Hey, now on to Shane. Okay, what were you saying? I might have cut you off. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay.
I guess I don't know.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
Well, we have time at the end that you could elaborate on more if you'd like to. Now, getting to Shane, what can you tell us about the kind of person he is?
Shane was he was a lot of fun. To me, I never had a problem with him being open and honest with me. He loved his children. We spent a lot of time, too, just doing stuff outside. He was very free-spirited. He's just a loving person, and it just baffles me. I mean, there was times he'd take me places. We got caught in the middle of a tornado once, and he stopped just to look at it and tell me how beautiful it was. Before it got close enough, obviously. We took off.
Wow.
Or the time we stopped on the side of the freeway and picked a turtle up so that, excuse me, I'm a little coughed up here, but stopped and picked up a turtle off the freeway just so it wouldn't get hit. Like, he noticed things. He was very outdoorsy, worldly. He was never the type, and I've had my fair share of friends that did drugs.
Right.
I've never seen anything on him that would make me think he was doing anything behind my back, because I would have known. I know one of the things that they said about him, too, was that, that he was mixed in with people who did them. But I could tell you that man went to work, would come home, he would play with his kids, he would eat dinner, and would be out. And if he was doing the things that they said he would have never been able to sleep like a baby until he had to go to work in the morning.
Right.
I mean, he was just an honest, good person.
Now, after the event, did he change at all?
Well, when he moved back down with his sister in Louisiana, to me, he seemed the same over the phone. He was excited about the move and being back with his family. He wanted me to come down there. There was talks of that for a long time.
Right.
And until he received information that they were questioning him, he was getting ready to go down to the prison in Louisiana.
Right.
That was the first time I seen a change in him, and it was, he didn't understand what was going on, the nerves. He didn't know what was going to happen. If
right.
He was going to get to talk to me.
Well, yeah. What did you see in the court proceedings that you can tell us?
A lot of outside of the courtroom. Unfortunately, I was the last witness in the last trial, so I was not permitted into any of the courtrooms while the proceedings were going on.
Right.
I did get to see everyone going in and out. I got to see the pain on Stephen's family's faces, but I also seen a lot of hatred. I also seen a lot of hatred on the other defendant, and it was a lot. me to because of what had been said in some of it, and I don't exactly know still all of that either because, again, I wasn't in there. But you could tell there were a lot of, like, predetermined feelings on what happened, and, you know, especially being in that last courtroom, everybody had heard enough about it and sat through enough that I think they all thought they had already known what happened without even listening to his story.
Right. Now, what happened to the jury after the court proceedings were completed?
I remember, because that was the only time I was allowed in that courtroom, and I remember being close to his mother and his sister, and I remember watching the jury, and this is the biggest thing that will stick in my head to this day, was that jury walking out. And one woman in particular, it wasn't the only one, but there was one woman in particular who looked directly at Shane and said, "I'm so sorry, we had to make a decision." And, you know, it was deliberated about for, I want to say, and again, this was almost 20 years ago, I want to say it was almost a week that they were in there.
Right.
And I do think that it was a forced decision because people wanted to go home.
Right. And I've been in court hearings just like that. And it's sad that people don't get a fair trial. Do you have any opinion of what you believe may have happened given what you know and what happened through the court proceedings?
I don't. I mean, all I heard was the first thing, and the thing that sticks out in my head was that it was over me because it did scare me. I didn't want to be involved because I had no involvement in it. And, you know, then they shut that down. Then it was about Kramer's girlfriend. And then it was all over methamphetamine. And,
right.
I mean, these are all just things I'm hearing outside because I couldn't be inside. And the Kramer situation, I couldn't tell you whether that was the case or not. And again, because not knowing him, but the drugs, again, to me, I can't see it being a reason for Shane to be involved in it. Like I said, I'd never seen any indication that he'd ever done anything. And I was with him all the time. I mean, I wasn't on a lease with him or anything.
Right.
But I did stay with him. I stayed with him. I stayed with his kids when the kids were over. And it was never something I seen. Okay.
Is there anything you would like to tell our audience tonight that we didn't cover?
I wish I did have more. He was a good person, and I honestly wish for Stephen's family they knew the truth, but I wish that they all would have given the chance for the real story to come out. I think that there have been truths and there's probably truths in all their stories at some point or another, but it was so mixed up, and I still to this day think that it's so mixed up, and I wish that instead of making the decisions based off of the stories that were told, they gave it the chance to actually be broke down and thought upon instead of just all thrown together as quick as it was.
Right. Well, that's our show tonight, and we thank you, Laura, for joining us. We may have you on again someday. If people would like to contact Patrick's wife, you can contact Shiloh Rafferty on Facebook, or contact Change Starts With Us Ohio, and we'll put you in direct contact with her. This is a man that we believe is innocent and that we know is innocent. There's too much evidence in his favor. And we pray that the truth will come out and that he comes home to be with his wife someday. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Thanks, you too.
Okay.
Bye.
Folks, please check out our website at www.changestartswithusohio.org. And you could go subscribe to our YouTube channel here, Change Steps with Us Ohio. There's several different videos that we did with Shane Rafferty and Shiloh. I guess Patrick Shane Rafferty, I should say. I just call him Shane. But listen to his videos. Please share this video. Get the message out. And let the truth come out so these people can go home and be with their families. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a great night.